So first off, I always start off my mornings obviously with opening these blinds and trying to finagle my hands through all the plants to get the blinds opened, and then I just go around and turn on my numerous amounts of grow lights and kind of just sit back and admire my plants and just make sure everybody is happy and waking up for the morning. No morning routine is complete without baby cuddles, of course, and I just mean all of the baby cuddles. During the winter time, I actually start boiling a big pot of water in the mornings, just when I'm cranking the heat up and zapping all the moisture out of the air. And as you can see, the condensation on my windows, it definitely helps. I have a pretty small house, so building up humidity isn't really a big problem. Hey guys, so obviously a big part of my morning routine is watering all of these plants and checking propagations, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do now. And I noticed that the majority of my watering days, like the big watering days, is usually on Monday, just because I work all day on Fridays and the weekends are really busy, so I really don't do any plant maintenance. I will just casually glance at my plants, make sure nobody is just completely flopped over, but for the most part, I just ignore them and just admire them from afar. And come Monday, my Hoyas need watering, my Calatheas need watering, just everybody needs all the waterings. So today I'm just gonna go around. I actually do need to water these ZZ plants. I water these guys about once a month. Then the soil is pretty dry and I know that they just need a good drink. This plant here has some dying leaves, and I'm pretty sure it's just from pure neglect. I neglect my ZZ plants a lot, and this one's suffering a little bit, so we gonna give him some TLC. Can I just... Another painful part of plant owning and having so many plants is that you're just breaking pots. And if you are clumsy like me, you are breaking pots all the time. And part of my morning routines is repotting plants that you knocked over the previous night. My beautiful Hoya Treubiana, which is finally putting out a leaf. I got this baby in September. And then it just fell off the trellis. I'm done. I'm calling quits. The new growth just broke. This is real life, y'all. I think I might cry. So the new leaf just broke after I broke the pot last night. Fell on my head, and then it fell on the floor because I was turning off the grow lights, and now the new leaf just fell and broke off. There is another new leaf forming right on the other side, but With Hoyas, I always go through a period of like losing leaves and getting a dried tendril before I learned the care and I understand the Hoya better. And I finally was getting the hang of this Hoya, and it was rewarding me with a beautiful new leaf, and now it's broken. And then I broke the whole pot of my Raven ZZ plant, and that was like an 8-inch pot, and I don't have another pot. So this has just turned into the saddest morning routine ever, and I apologize. There's just soil everywhere. There's broken pots everywhere. Just how? Well, the bright side is I get to check the rhizomes on the Raven ZZ. If you don't know what they look like, the roots basically of a ZZ plant, of both the regular and the Raven, they look like little potatoes, and I do have a little bit of like dry roots going on, but that's fine. I'd rather have dry roots than have a rotting rhizome. So now I have 2 plants to pot up and water, and a broken heart, and a baby Hoya tree beyond a leaf on the floor. I found it. Oh, can you even? Can we all just have a moment of silence for this, please? I worked so hard to grow it. So, repotting plants and breaking pots is not always in my morning routine. Sometimes it is, because I have a lot of plants and pots get broken. Pots break all the time in my house. I might be cleaning up soil in various places for the next month, but it's okay, because today this is a part of my morning routine. Luckily, I had a big enough pot for the Raven. While it's not really big foliage wise, these rhizomes take up a lot of space. So if you, it has enough space here now. I have my soil mix already here to go, and handy dandy Osmocote plant food to put in when I'm done planting it. Honestly, the good part about this is that I got to check out the beautiful roots on this Hoya. It's beautiful. And yes, I know I plant my Hoyas in terracotta. Don't come for me, Hoya people. It's just, it is what it is, you know? My Hoyas are doing really well in it. And if I ever need to replant them, I plan on just giving them a really good soak if their roots do get entangled in the terracotta. Okay, we're back. Everything has been repotted, and I still need to water my plants. So, okay, let's just head over to the sink with some plants to water. So I have talked extensively on this channel about how I water my plants. I basically just take them to the sink and wash them down really quick and water them, because it just, in my opinion and in my experience, really helps keep the pest at bay and just keeps the foliage clean, and that way your plants are able to photosynthesize better and all that good stuff. I also am going to be fertilizing them. I haven't stopped fertilizing. Most of my plants are all still growing, and I'm just giving them like very little. I use liquid dirt still, but yeah, I use very little. I usually, in the growing season, I will fill this watering can up halfway with fertilizer and half with water, but in the winter time and non-growing season, I just fill it up like a quarter, and then the rest. So it's a week fertilizing, it's a week feeding, but they're still getting some food. The next plant that I am watering, I don't think I've talked about it actually on my channel. I have definitely talked about it on YouTube. Is this beautiful Anthurium warocqueanum. Okay, so let's just go through a little recap of this plant. I received this plant so graciously by Cody. It was a giveaway Plantastica was holding to raise awareness for March of Dime. It had 2 leaves, and the first leaf had just unfurled, so it was really soft. And I accidentally ripped that leaf off, so it had 1 leaf for a while, and then about a month later, surprisingly, it started to put out a new leaf, which was this beautiful thing. And look at it. It came perfect. It came out perfect, and I grew it in my care. I was shocked. As you can see, I'm still shocked. And the old leaf just dropped, so I went through a thought process of how do I get it to come out with its next leaf and not have it abort its last leaf. We're not alocasia, we're Anthurium here. So I started to feed it more, and I gave it the Osmocote plant food, and I just kind of went a little heavy with the fertilizer, and it worked, because then this leaf came out, and just look at it. So when this leaf started to unfurl and form like you see here, the very tip of it had burnt off. It was, I don't know if it burnt off or if it was just like dried off. So I did let this plant get a little too dry a couple of times, and that is what I think made the tip of the plant come off and not form, as you can see there. But it's still really, truly beautiful. So now we have a 3rd leaf coming, as you can see, and I'm so excited. I have really upped the watering on this plant, like hardcore. I even repotted it in this bigger pot, because before it was in just a plastic cup that Cody had sent it to me in, and the roots were just going crazy. It was drying out like crazy, so definitely needed to be repotted. I have it in just like a really chunky mix with bark, perlite, coco coir, sphagnum moss, all the things. And I really feel like putting this sphagnum moss on top just kind of locks in the moisture more. My Anthurium have really been liking it. I was just experimenting with it for a little bit. So yeah, now I have let it dry out a little bit too much this time. Again, I should have watered it 2 days ago, but I just couldn't get around to it. The tip of this plant does look a tiny bit brown, so that's a bummer, but if I could get it to form more than this one, that would be amazing. I mean, this leaf is still really big too, and it's just so shiny. I'm obsessed, absolutely obsessed. So I'm gonna water this plant, I'm gonna fertilize this plant, I'm going to do all the things for this plant just so it can grow and be happy. And here we have all the queens that have been thoroughly watered and just are drying off. Does that look familiar? He still has some ornaments on, and I just wanted to keep the Christmas lights on for the moment. It's just so adorable. There you have it. My whole realistic morning routine of dealing with over 150 plants. Honestly, my biggest tip is just to take watering days slow and steady. I pretty much, aside from Mondays, I will schedule waterings or do waterings throughout the week, just a little bit here and there. I know some people that will water all of their plants at like once on one day, and that is just very overwhelming, at least in my head. I would think it's overwhelming because I know when all my Hoya are thirsty at the same time, it's a little much. So if you do feel overwhelmed on watering day, I suggest trying that out, just to water 5 at a time, 10 at a time, or water an area. Like, I didn't show y'all, but I actually watered the plants on my bottom shelf here, which is very minimal. And then my 2 ZZ plants, which are just spread out in my house, and my Anthurium. So it was a very light watering day, and that's just the best way that I can manage it, especially when I'm juggling homeschooling and the 2 little ones that I have. So it gets pretty hectic here. Things break all the time, as you saw. So yeah, my biggest tip, take it a little bit at a time. But that wraps it up for Vlogmas day 1. I am doing the 12 days of Vlogmas. Tomorrow I am going to be talking to you about my grow lights. I hope you all enjoyed it.
And I hope you all enjoyed my little Vlogmas intro. I really had a lot of fun shooting it, and I do want to incorporate more still motion type of clips in my videos, so you might see more of that around. And I will see you all for Vlogmas Day 2. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful holiday, and yeah, bye.